Hello, everybody, and welcome to Slingy's Daredevils, where we spotlight leaders who are elevating our community through tech. In today's episode, we are speaking with Nick McRae at BroadLoop. Nick, how are you doing today?
Great, Savannah. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited to
Good.
jump back in and get another episode on there.
Nice.
Nick, always a question we start out with. For those at home, what is BroadLoop and what do y'all do?
Sure. BroadLoop is a material hauling intelligence platform, and I think that pretty much speaks for itself. I'm just kidding. It always needs some more definition. So we started working with asphalt contractors to help them track the material movement. So when they produce the asphalt, how they get it out to the job site and all the analytics around that so they can make sure they're being as efficient as possible. And we have since expanded into pretty much any construction vertical, and we really are helping with bringing technology into the field and helping anywhere there's material movement or assets that aren't owned by the contractors, so they can really understand how things are moving around their job site and where they can find bottlenecks and how they can improve and essentially increase the bottom line.
Wow, okay, that's awesome. Putting tech in places where we need it.
That's right.
So what kind of led you to work with BroadLoop, and why is it important to build something that can kind of help the construction logistics and dispatching?
Yeah, I had an interesting career path, and it's been fun to see how some of the things that I wasn't quite sure at the time sort of became stepping stones or building blocks into something else later in life. But my second job out of college, third maybe, was working at a startup that was doing fleet management services for K through 12 school buses. So I got to be an application developer kind of early in my career and got to become acquainted with fleet management solutions, and then took about a decade off and ran a software consulting company, and then was looking to find some ways to change things up and grow a little faster and bigger. And everybody knows that the only way you can become an entrepreneur is to go to grad school. No, that's not true at all either.
We got a podcast about
So I enrolled over at U of L in their entrepreneurship MBA program, and it was eye-opening from a true kind of pure business school standpoint, just how to operate a business, but also to how to think about finding ideas and validating them and determining if they're worth the time to pursue. So that's really where the idea for this company started from. So we went into this MBA program, academically competed in business plan competitions, and then moved forward out of school and really started to take it more seriously and build out past just the MVP and really take the customer discovery and early customers past that phase to where we really started driving value into their businesses. From that point, raised some external capital, and we're off to the races. So. And the way that technology actually works in the system is several different ways. So it really started off as a mobile-based GPS tracking solution, because the problem that we saw was a big line of dump trucks on a job site, and we were in grad school in this kind of curious mindset of trying to find problems that we might be able to solve for. And when we realized that they are potentially 10 different trucks from 10 different companies, and the companies that they're owned by are not the ones that are the same that they're putting the roads down or bringing the material to. So it's this kind of disconnected, disjointed problem where they order more trucks than they need because they don't have any control or access or visibility over their virtual fleet of trucks. So we started with a mobile app and thought, hey, every dump truck driver is going to love putting this tracking app on their phones. It turns out it wasn't quite the case. And then we've expanded into a full line of GPS hardware and vendors that we work with to source different types of hardware. So you can do something that's simple track and trace, or asset tracking for non-powered vehicles. Dash cameras is pretty popular right now, and if they're owned assets. And our mobile app still works and is available if that's the case, or if you don't want to invest in the hardware. But then our technology stack has really evolved into full-on dispatching and scheduling. So you're really able to find out which trucks are supposed to be there in the first place, communicate clearly to them, see where everybody's at regardless of who owns those trucks, cycle time analytics so that we can really determine where the bottlenecks might be, at which phase of the cycle they are, and give them the opportunity to really see a rich picture and have the data that they can use to then solve for problems, so they can not only know that there's an issue, but dive deep into finding how they can correct it and improve.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot there. So how would you say because you've talked a little bit about what the tech, what you guys do, but could you talk a little bit about why it's important to kind of build tech and help the material hauling intelligence industry?
Yeah. So there's, on one hand, there's a big need for it. Just internally, not having that data means that there's a lot of gut check decisions and a lot of institutional knowledge, which is great. And there's nothing wrong with that to some degree. But it's not based on data. And sometimes it's maybe not as accurate as it could be. And there's certainly a generational switch where that institutional knowledge will be retiring or phasing out. And, as new entrants come in and the labor force changes, the opportunity to have consistency and kind of best practices built into the process is one avenue that we're using to really push the solution. But on the other hand, there's a Federal Highway Administration mandate for e-ticketing in the hot mix asphalt space. So that's really where we got started, based on some management team expertise. And they require that they have the paper tickets be converted into a digital format and then transmitted daily over to the State Highway Transportation Department. And it really just expedites and clarifies the flow of material and the quantities that way, so they can put it into their contract management systems and make sure they're paying for it correctly and that they have everything accounted for. But there's also a quality aspect to that as well, where they can see not only did you run out 1,200 tons this evening, but here's exactly where on the road that material was placed. And then if there's any sort of an issue in the future, they can go back and refer to where the material was, where, some qualitative metrics around, the temperature and the density and how it was put down, and really do some analysis looking back and really be able to use data to help them understand how roads wear and what might be pain points in the future.
Oh yeah, especially in Kentuckiana, potholes and things. I think we need to make sure that we've got the best roads we can.
Yep, absolutely.
And then not to mention that innovating in an industry can help grow jobs in that industry, can help the community as a whole, just because of the effort that you're putting in.
That's right. Yeah, there's obviously the infrastructure bill and a lot of extra funding that's come through in the space, and then the infrastructure needs in general just require so much more to be done with so much less, as you're finding challenges with getting enough people to perform the job. So yeah, any opportunity to put data in the hands of the people in the field so they can be more efficient is only going to make sure that taxpayer dollars are used wisely and efficiently in putting new roads down for us.
Oh, right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly what we need.
That's right.
So Nick, last question. Where can people find you and what have you got going on?
Yeah, we actually just got out of our TechStars Accelerator a couple months back. So we're, really getting through some of the growth and the exposure and opportunities that we were presented with, and just exhibited at World of Asphalt in Nashville. It's the largest trade show in our space, that we could be at. So we just got a stock full pipeline of potential customers that we're working through and trying to propel this growth here. So you can find us on our website's probably the easiest way to find us. So BroadLoop.com. It's just BroadLoop.com. And we've got social as well. And I'd love to talk to anybody or answer any questions. And as we're expanding out of just the asphalt space and even outside of just road building, we're looking at additional customer segments where anybody that's got a fleet of vehicles, we've got opportunities to help them with dispatching and tracking. So if there were any customers that were interested in looking for services like that, we'd obviously love to chat with them as well.
Yeah, customers, you know where to find Nick. Well, Nick, again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with myself and Slingy.
Hey, Slingy.
And listeners, thank you at home for taking the time to watch this episode. Have a great week, and bye, y'all.
Thank you.